Miss Mary's in the house. Russ, Steve-O, 73 people in the house. Paul Marion. Yeah, we were a little late tonight. We had a little issue. Or should I say I did. Frank Canada. Samuel. The Big Law. Sean. Miss BB. The lovely Miss BB's here. Alonzo. Everhelp. Thank you. XRP Watts. Thank you. Man, we got 100 people. I'm going to start this music real quick, y'all. We're going to get this party started. Got a lot to talk about. Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Special super shout out right now. Who is this right here? Paul? Paul came out here blessing me early. Told y'all, man, y'all can't be tipping me like I'm a stripper. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't come out here giving me this love early. I appreciate that, Paul. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, y'all. Not asking for money. I'm just asking for likes. Okay? You know the game plan, y'all. You like the format, you give me the likes, okay? Miss BB, you quiet over there. What you doing, girl?
I'm saying hi to everybody.
I thought you was going to give me some likes.
Well, you already got that.
Ooh, how many likes we got? Paul gave me a major like right there.
Hold on, let me see. I have to come out and come back in.
Oh, okay.
You got, that's 113 people. You got 66 likes.
66 likes, dang! Thank you so much. And only one dislike.
It's the Rainbow Coalition of Likes.
Bam!
Yeah, baby.
And Daisy got them likes.
Oh,
she mad, huh? There goes my bomb maker. Daisy's crunk.
Patricia said, I'm curious, do you think we'll cash in this year?
Yes. I think, okay, listen, y'all. I told y'all, I made my whole, shtick, my whole everything on a couple things. One being policy, one being legislation, one being trade, one being reinforcement. Tonight I'm going to go over those things, and I'm going to have Miss BB hit the bombs up, and you tell me. I'm going to read to you what I know, and then you tell me. I very much so think you're in a positive stance. I think that just like my friend told me from Iraq, they not all Iraqis don't want to see Alawi not to be the new prime minister. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Some Iraqis want to see what's going to happen with this new prime minister, and they also want to see with this new prime minister, because he's so independent, not relying on any political influence, what he's actually going to be able to accomplish. That's a bomb.
I'm not ready.
I know. You're my bomb maker now. You got to. When I drop these, you got to be ready.
Hold on.
That's a weak bomb. I need a better bomb than that. The reason why I'm saying that is because if this person really truly did not choose anybody from any political cabinet, then this is the very first time in history that non-sectarianism was being done inside of Iraq in choosing a political forefront. And with that, history is going to be made tomorrow. Now, a lot of people are down there, oh, they're not doing anything. They're not going to do anything. You know what? Halabusi and the first deputy, I did that report on Monday. And you know what? I was wrong about them holding out about early elections. I'll tell you what. But you know what? I was right about a deal being made. The deal was made. They blessed it. And guess what? Now they're saying tomorrow, history will be made.
Okay.
Now, I've got to read to you what the history is going to be made, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You ready for that? Let's do this. The Government Curriculum Study Committee announced that it has made observation on some of the items that were mentioned in the ministerial curriculum of the government of Malawi. The committee to study the ministerial curriculum will hold a second meeting tomorrow to complete the report of the government program and to send 2 copies to the House of Representatives to vote on in the sessions of granting confidence tomorrow, Thursday. Now, that happened today. That's for Thursday. Now, that we mentioned in the ministerial curriculum while stressing security and stability in Iraq and completing the requirements of the electoral process, including logistical matters and financial allocations for early elections. Now, if anybody had questions, early elections have to take place within 9 months to a year, depending on the Supreme High Council. That was part of the deal. And there were other stipulations that people talked about, but those were major points that Alawi taking office was going to have to meet to suffice the demonstrators and also suffice the parliament that was currently in power, okay? He pointed out the government curriculum of Prime Minister included general guidelines and will be detailed program prepared after the grant of trust and direct ministers. The committee held a study of government curriculum Tuesday. The first meeting discussed the ministerial curriculum prepared to charge of planned governments has given confidence during the extraordinary session will be convened by the House of Representatives tomorrow, Thursday. Now, a lot of people that are in my Facebook group, a lot of people that are in my Twitter group, a lot of people that are in my Mr. Brando fan book page, they got glimpses of what that curriculum was because I had it. I chopped it up. I was dropping hints anywhere. Can I get a bomb on that, please? Shout out Bethany for that one. Can I get a bomb on that one, please? And the reason why I'm giving her a shout out specifically on that one is because I had that report. Me and my brother, Mr. Frazier, chopped it up, read it about 15 times. I'd given it to Telegram, and we had dissected it into the points that I'm going to read you in a few minutes. And it's worth the bomb because that report is specific about what we've been talking about, what I specifically have been talking about, and it's important because what we've been talking about is specifically in the report. No made up things, no phantasm, no glorious whatever. It is actually in the report, and I will read it, okay? Now, remember earlier this week, the first deputy was one of the biggest critics, as well as Halabusi, into stopping the election because whatever deal they didn't make, they didn't have done. My thought process was that deal wasn't done because they didn't hold early elections. And this guy, the first deputy, is a real stickler. He wants the American troops out. He's a guy by the book. We called him the Men in Black. This guy came from nowhere, exuded much power, but it seemed to me that he was someone that could hold up our blessing because this guy was out there really stopping stuff. His name is Al-Kabi, Al-Kabi. He said in the statement, Alawi set the government curriculum and the CVs for the candidates in the ministerial cabinet before the session to give confidence to the new government, noting that this happens for the first time in the history of the government. This is the very first time that everything could be done in one day. It's never been done. He added all members of the House of Representatives were briefed on the biographies and candidates, explaining that the committee formed under his chairmanship discussed the government curriculum and expressed his observation and the recommendations is designated president, who on his part expressed his readiness to include and adhere to within the ministerial curriculum of his government. This is to be held on Thursday as a democracy 100%, indicating the vote will be public. That is the key. That's a major bomb right there. This will be the very first time that this vote to see the people that don't support him will be broadcasted public for everybody to see inside of Parliament. Very first time ever this has ever happened. So you want to see who the snitches are? You want to see the people aren't supporting you are? Guess what?
What?
You will see them live on TV, and it will be live at 5, and we will know who exactly is on your side and who's not. The appointed president and his government, they obtained the confidence of Parliament and pledged to restore the states, identifying and achieve the demands of the Iraqi people by holding early elections and fair elections in the next upcoming year. So, that was this guy's major shtick, holding elections. If that's being achieved, he's received confidence from allowing the first deputy. I think how Labusi's holding out was more political aspirations, but could be wrong. The prime minister allow it. I don't want to keep calling the prime minister designate. Confirmed today, Wednesday, that Thursday cabinet will be voted on. Now, Alawi said in a tweet, can you cue up the bomb, please?
Cue it up.
Tomorrow, God willing, the vote on the first booth will be made qualified and impartial independent candidate who will return the people their right and prestige of Iraq. He confirms that he has audio and video recordings of blackmailing his political forces. Muhammad Talik Alawi confirmed that he has records of meetings with all political forces and even blackmailers, as these records will be the broadcast to the Iraqi people in the event the process of passing government fails. So this guy blackmailing the blackmailers. He recorded the people that are supposedly these lies that came out that said, hey, look, he's selling office positions. He's doing this. He's doing that. You know what he did? He recorded the conversations, and he said, if you don't pass my government tomorrow, guess what I'll do?
Blackmail.
I will play this recording live. That's why he wants it publicized live. There'll be no mistakes.
Take that.
Tomorrow is the day of the meeting of the honorable members of the House of Representatives with the national opposition who have withstood great challenges with the people who resisted war and oppression. Tomorrow, together, people, representatives, candidates, and national political forces will turn over the quotas page and look forward to a free and strong Iraq and the Father. Well, what exactly is this curriculum? What exactly is this program that's going on that we got to know, because it means everything to you and I as an investor? Well, guess what?
What?
How many likes I got?
Hold on.
How many likes we got?
I don't know. Hold on. I'm trying to multitask.
I'll wait.
Repopulate.
So
it has to repopulate.
Okay.
120.
How many people?
215.
100 and what?
I don't know. I just told you. I don't know. I went back in. I have to go back out and repopulate. It's 215 watching.
And only 115 likes. I need 165 likes. I need 165 likes right now.
Are you ready for some questions?
Yeah, I'm ready for a question. Are they ready to hear what the mandate from the new prime minister is that's going to be to dictate the future of this investment? I need 165 likes to 175
so you want
likes.
me to wait on the questions, or you want me to...
No, bring the questions. Let's bring it.
Okay.
Shout out my new cup, too.
What do you think about Trump saying the stock market is starting to look really good the same day the Dow drops over 1,000 points.
I'll tell you this. The carnivore virus, and me and Miss Beebe have been talking about it. We're going to do a special report about it.
The
The
coronavirus?
coronavirus, sorry, the coronavirus. I apologize for my mistake in the verbiage. People make fun of the way we say things all the time, but that was blatantly butchered. But the coronavirus, y'all, I believe is an instrument of destruction. I hate to be a conspiracy theorist on this one, but I'm buying into Miss BB's theory that it might have been an instrument of destruction by China, either for or against Americans, and I'm buying into her idea. I really am. Based upon the whole theory that every single country that has really been attacked by the coronavirus is every single country that is under the whole scrutiny of
Look
the
at
China trade
look
agreement,
at
except for Switzerland.
look at the timing of it all.
It's unique.
The
It's very
timing.
unique.
And the Minister of Health in Iran, of all places, has it.
Hit your own bomb on that one.
I'm taking a vacation in Iran. Yeah, I'm going there right now.
Well, everybody knows that those Chinese that were in China couldn't go back to China, right? So what happened was the Chinese had to fly to Kuwait. That's how the migration happened. They flew to Kuwait, infected Kuwait, and then migrated down through Iran. Now, it's no secret that those people infected those Middle Eastern countries through Kuwait. But the idea is, why the heck weren't the borders of Kuwait cut off earlier? And why aren't there more confirmed deaths in Kuwait than there are in Iran? That's a bomb too.
Can I say something
Go
else?
ahead.
So you got to see this Korean film called Parasite. They want to eliminate this person, and they intentionally like blow something on her, right? And she just has this outbreak. So all I'm saying is it's ironic the timing and
And the countries involved. And the signing of this agreement and this trade enforcement on April 6th.
So let's think about this. When did you first hear about the coronavirus? Just first hear about it.
Right around the time that I believe Iraq and Lebanon were going through the protest. Right after the China trade agreement.
Almost okay. So let me see.
Almost to the time it was signed.
Right when it was signed, shortly thereafter, then comes the coronavirus. 2 weeks before implementation.
Okay, go ahead with your theory.
I mean, I'm just saying. There's your timeline. However, if you look at the doctor that died from it,
Well, people don't know that. You got to explain what this doctor. You got to give them the story now. So,
well, there was a doctor that basically went to social media because he wasn't being heard. His voice wasn't being heard, and he exposed the Chinese for suppressing and not.
but he's a Chinese doctor, right?
He's an ophthalmologist.
Ophthalmologist. Okay, so
And he was infected with they were calling it a SARS-like condition, and no one was taking it seriously.
so let's go ahead and give them that information, right? So to substantiate the point, right? I need to do this. I'm gonna give you.
And this is while I was out of town, so he was posting feverishly on social media, and it was causing like an uproar on social media, right?
So that I'm posting right now, right? I just posted that link, so you can see it live for yourself.
And I want to say that was January 31st, February 1st, where he had been posting, but it kind of made news, right?
Okay.
His post,
Okay.
his posting on social media, and he was going live from like his hospital room bed, his hospital bed, I believe it was, and he was just saying how people were dying in China from this, and so. I believe the Chinese government came in and they wanted him to retract his statement, remove his comments, and then shortly thereafter he died.
Interesting.
Yes, very.
Now, the timing of it all is very suspicious because on April 6th, the trade enforcement goes into play for currency manipulators that the U.S. is involved with, and we all thought it was key to the China trade agreement, but that's not the real key. The real tree of this, the meat of this tree comes from the U.S. Canada Mexico agreement, because as a forefront, that agreement solidifies the China trade agreement. A lot of people don't understand that. Now, there's obvious, it looks like coercion to me because Vietnam signs 1 year prior to the date a free trade act based upon, and I'll read you that mandate in November 5th or 6th, 2016, almost a year prior to President Trump running, right?
Mm-hmm.
About how the markets are going to change
Mm-hmm.
and free trade's going to become the emergence and how they have to comply about socio-economic, and they will comply based upon them wanting to have an emergence and being a major player. And they know they're going to be not they're going to be taken from the underdeveloped list to the developed list as far as the country is concerned, and their unfair trade advantage that allowed them to take advantage of undervalued currency was going to continue. And instead of then, if you remember those keys that came out, those articles, people said, "Hey, they're going to label them a currency manipulator." They automatically started saying, "Look, we're going to comply."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So that all happened.
And
All.
okay, one other thing, and I just lightly, I'm like, why wasn't Russia affected? But Italy's been affected, right? Iran's been affected.
All on the list. Both on the list.
Iraq has been affected.
Iraq. Yes. Singapore.
Yeah.
Nope, not affected. But they've been affected, but not major like
Thailand was affected.
Thailand.
However, Thailand has a cure.
And so did Vietnam.
Right.
But remember, this whole virus is based upon your immune system being weakened.
I get that, but they're finding cures. You see what
But as I'm saying, but the cure that they're finding is all based upon HIV drugs. So
and influenza drugs.
Correct. So what are those drugs mainly going to care to? Your immune system and your ability to cough. Because this drug, it suppresses your cough, and also it boosts your immune system.
James said no one goes to Russia. True, but also Russia is Trump's friends.
Allies?
Yes.
That's true.
So
True.
that's how I'm seeing it. I'm sorry, from my eyes, that's how I'm seeing it.
So spit your theory out.
I mean, I just feel like Putin didn't want to play that game.
So Putin didn't get involved in the whole trade deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going to be affected either way. You're saying that China somehow felt some type of way about being unfaced, basically, from the China trade agreement, and whether they were planning on unleashing this virus possibly on the United States, or possibly were holding it for chemical warfare for a different reason.
I had two kind of theories I was playing in my mind. Could it be that it was to assist Trump in accomplishing his task, since he took the heat for going after Iran, right? So he's like, let's use a different channel, and I'm going to use China to do this through chemical warfare, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was one theory in my mind. And then the other one was China was pissed and coming for Americans, or just coming for devastation in some way, shape, or form, or havoc, right? So
somehow the outbreak gets out, boom, it backfires. Yeah. They don't have the medical, let's just say, expertise to contain the virus.
Right.
It leaves the borders, and thus it spreads. It's more effective than what they realize, and thus
it's messing up their economy. Like they didn't think it out thoroughly.
They didn't. You know why? Because they're a communist society, soulless people, and guess what? It backfired.
Yeah. So
okay.
Okay, and then the other question. Hold on, let me get back to it.
Okay.
With these delays, could it be that Alawi? Shut up, Daisy. Okay. With these delays, could it be that Alawi is another Iranian puppet, or made some kind of deal with Iran?
You don't know. The whole thing is you don't know. Nobody knows. Because he's kept managing how he's going to select his cabinet so secret. He hasn't consulted anybody. So if he somehow was in contact with Iran, it's not evident. But what the curriculum, and I'm going to read that next, was published and leaked out, it has nothing to do with Iran. If you are Iran, this is opposite of everything you ever want to see happen to you. Okay?
Okay. That was the last question. Now I'm back in the chat monitoring. Okay.
How many likes we got?
You got 160.
That's it?
Okay.
We barely got to 160?
Yes.
Am I dreaming? They must not want to know what this curriculum says. 160 likes, that's it?
You got 264 people.
264 and 160, that's it? They better get these likes coming. Come on now.
Do you think that the dong might go before the dinar?
I've answered that several times. I think that this is a race to the end. April is a major date as far as being a currency investor, not as a date for a reinstatement or a V, but for a date for enforcement that if you are doing business with this new conglomerate called the Canada, Mexico, American agreement, and as far as trade goes with America and China, you will be under scrutiny, and your currency will definitely be under scrutiny because there will be no more basically trade deficits. It's all based upon free trade.
Do you think tomorrow grades will be taken care of?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's vote?
Yep, I do. I really think special grades, and I really think managers. If you see the whole cabinet pass, I think special grades are done too.
Okay. You know, I read somewhere that the coronavirus can live on the surface for 9 days.
Yeah, I heard it could take up to 27 days for it to incubate before it actually can show, symptoms.
Okay. The only reason I say that is because that minister of health has it, right? So I wonder about the people around him.
As he was sweating profusely as he gave his speech.
Right.
All right, y'all. How many likes we got?
Oh my gosh, hold on. I'm trying to get these questions.
Well, I'm trying to get to this curriculum. These questions mean nothing if I don't get to this curriculum.
Okay, so we're at 7:36. We're at 185.
Okay, let's talk about the curriculum specifically. Our agencies publish the government curriculum of Prime Minister Designate Alawi, based upon the provisions of Article 76, Paragraph 4 of the Constitution of the Republic of Iraq, 2005. I put in the hands of your attendees the platform of my government for coming period, noting the following. The curriculum represents the general framework for the work of the government in accordance with the foundations and priorities of the governed by the nature of the stage that produced the government and not be detailed approach to the work of its ministers. All ministers will be committed to preparing a detailed approach that contains timetables that are binding timetables, and will be held accountable within 3 months of having the trust of your esteemed council. That's a bomb. 3 months, that's 90 days. 90 days of taking a position, they will be held accountable for what they're doing. Precaution's curriculum was based mainly on the Constitution, the direct government program prepared by the group of advisors, as well as the reliance on multiple papers submitted by some experts and specialists conducted under the direct supervision, as well as the appeal of opinions of academics. Our ministerial work is based upon 2 axes. First, preparing for early elections in which the people chose their representatives for the first stage. Now, government reform. The axis for government reform for early fair elections, which is the people's choice, their representatives for the next stage. The government program in this area aims to seriously pursue fundamental serious change in political behavior, to build state institutions, the rule of law to achieve this goal. The government seeks to implement the following. First off, I'm going to have committee of experts of number of well-known figures in a relevant disciplines from outside forces, authority who are credible, knowledgeable, and efficient. Integrity is tasked with identifying the steps to be taken in order to combat corruption and achieve the desired reform to allow the members to see the situation and proceedings, to meet all the actors in the country, primarily representatives of the demonstrators in various provinces, to hear the demands of the views, and committee includes the work of identifying required legislation, executive, judicial, and steps. The government will work hard to review these recommendations and frame the legal framework by turning them into a bill that will be submitted to your esteemed council to vote on it. Clear timetables for implementation. Clear timetables. You guys have never heard anybody talk like this. He's saying 90 days. That's a clear timetable from his inception to when things will move. Now, second, I'm going to have a complete the construction and support of the Constitution and legal institutions necessary to organize early elections. So he's going to have opportunity done based upon the United Nations Minister Council with the new Parliament, a new way that they can form early elections. That's first. Okay, and I just told you that. Yes, we confirm that Independent High Electoral Commission will provide us with specific data of no more than a year from today, and the government pledges support, assigning us the United Nations, whatever UNHCR, and setting necessary requirements for these elections. Now that's just the elections. When I say a year, I'm not talking about the reforms. He says he will implement the reforms within 90 days of its inception to please the citizens. The publication of the new electoral law, which was voted on in the House of Representatives, was already in the official gazette. And then he says, and that's facts. Together with the attractive tables that are clearly defined in Iraq's electoral districts, is indispensable. An indispensable introduction to the Council of the Electoral Commission and support of inauguratories to determine the deadline for early elections. So we know that there will be an independent nature of the way that they hold elections and democracy in Iraq within a year's time. So it will truly be change the face of Iranian influence. It's going to truly be changed tomorrow. So all these people delay. No, it's not a delay. What it is it's basically safeguarding your and I's future. I told people this. When I saw Halabusi hold out, I knew there was an issue. Until I really figured out why Halabusi was holding out, I had to figure out what the issue was. Now, activating the laws, legal provisions contained in civil, penal, commercial, and other laws, and godly apply them in order to create a sound atmosphere for action and to deter the corrupt. That's a bomb. Accountability, exposing those involved in attacking the peaceful protesters and security forces, putting them on trial. The government is committed to treating them, the wounded protesters, and security forces, as well as compensating the families of martyrs for peaceful protesters and security forces, as well as releasing the detainees or peaceful protests after consultation with the competent authorities. So he's going to free the people that have been detained, unjustly. Addressing the roots of corruption, prosecuting the spoilers, harassing them in a legitimate way. Setting the standards and describe all public functions, contact patterns in accordance with the standards of applicable in most countries of the world, and activating the work of the Federal Service Council. Take strict measures to eliminate the phenomenon of corruption in all its forms, which is a minimal penalty of dismissal from office for the simplest corruption processes such as bribery and others. That's how you get rid of the Malikis and the others. But it can be thwarted by the Saudis that hold religious influence. Okay, so watch. He says, I'm going to take care of the Iraqi armed forces in all types, designation, and restoring prestige to them, and enabling them to enforce the law under the commander-in-chief, and honor the distinguishing them and paying attention to the training and arming in a way that contributes to enable them to perform the tasks assigned to them and establishing security and respecting the rights of human. Removal of combat forces from cities and end the manifestation of armaments in them. That's eliminating what? The militias. And the restriction of weapons in the hands of the state. Now he's saying he's going to take the weapons out of the militias and put it back in the hands of the states, as well as the end of the phenomenon of aliens and the punishment of those responsible. This is one of my favorites. This is Article 140, and you can quote me if I'm wrong. Work hard to provide a safe environment for the voluntary return of the displaced person for those persons and their homes and cities and help them restore their lives normally, protecting and entrenching the principles and human rights and fundamental freedoms. That is Article 140. Oh, shout out. Who's that right there? Shout out, Kenneth. Thank you so much. You saw a video explaining there'll be two rates. Can you explain the difference between a nominal rate and exchange rate? Yeah. A nominal rate is what the country value of their currency could be, right? It's like, I'll give you an example. In my opinion, I think what you're trying to describe is the dollar, okay? The value of the dollar right now, let's say, is 90 something cents, right? I'm just using an example. But we have the value of the dollar being a dollar, right? But the actual value of a dollar is actually, let's say, 89.90 cents. Does that make sense? Nominal value, perceptive value. Okay? There's not two values to a currency, but there's a trade value, an actual worth, what you actually can trade it at, and then what your country actually uses that value at. A dinar will always be a dinar, but whether a dinar is worth $3.22 or a penny or $50 or whatever, all depends on the value of
So,
that currency based upon their GDP, trade, and other factors.
so even though we say the dollar weakens, it's still a dollar to us.
Correct. You don't know any different.
Right. No, you don't know any different until you're out of country, or
Or you go to the grocery store.
or you try to exchange it.
Correct, but think about it. You go to the grocery store. The dollar is really like 50 cents. Instead of meat being $5, it's really going to be $7.50. See what I'm saying? They're going to make up the difference. Openness and balance in foreign relations. The government's program is the area aims to establish partnerships, cooperations, understanding in various countries, the world, particularly neighboring countries, and allies in Iraq, based upon respect for Iraq's sovereignty, preserving its interests and not interfering in its internal affairs, and not allowing the use of land. Iraq is an aggression against any country, and Iraq is not a foreign meeting and dialogue. He did not say we will expose the United States troops. He just said this will not be a ground for people to hold their own personal grudges. We confirmed the primary task of this government is to hold early elections. Again, he keeps stating early elections. But it will be full-fledged government. It's not a caretaker government. I've read several articles that say, oh, it's a caretaker government. They can't do anything. No, this is a full-fledged government. They can do and pass laws and have all kinds of things, reforms, and rewrite the Constitution. This government has full legislative body and power. Extend the period. They will not be in power but for 1 year. So our government program will deal with the development of preliminary plans and policies for all. Now this is important, for all economic. That's the first thing he says. Economic, service, and political aspects of this government for the next governments. So he is planning on changing things on a major level for the economy, for the services, and for the political aspirations of Iraq for the next future. Reconsider Iraq's economic vision in order to achieve tangible economic growth. Give the private sector a key role in activating in the reforming of the economy, moving towards a market economy, and empowering the private sector. Work hard to diversify non-oil revenues by providing an attractive investment environment for investors. Improve that mechanism. Encouraging export of local products, encouraging tourism, developing religious tourism facilities, and others. That's kind of like saying we're going to harvest our own natural gas and guess what? Launch the ISX. I hate that one. Harmonizing the International Economic Organization with positive engagement with the reform prescriptions that are constant with the situation of Iraq, particularly the World Trade Organization. Now, why would they say the World Trade Organization they're going to try to go ahead and join instantly when we already know that the World Trade Organization is dead? You know why?
Why?
As hard work of joining them will require Iraq to reach the acceptable threshold of economic, financial, and property rights to reform intellectual property, governance, etc., reforms the resources. It commits us to timetables and to benefits the recommendations of the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and most all, it benefits the overall national interest of Iraq. Wow.
Will Iraq be held to the April 6th deadline,
Yep.
they're still under sanctions.
Yep. They surely will. Because if they're not on the economic underdeveloped list, they will not have an unfair trade advantage. So, no, they will be held accountable. This is to keep them up to the U.S. Canada Mexico agreement, thus the China trade agreement. It all starts with the United States Canada Mexico agreement. If you go back to that, and Todd so eloquently put me back to that, once you put you back to that, that's what enforces the China trade agreement. Because that makes it so if you trade with any of those three countries, those other 146 countries that you trade with, it is enforceable to. Can I get a bomb on that?
Daisy about to dust crop, y'all. Clear the room. Hey, stop stepping on my feet.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to 4. Restructuring the public budget. Managing public funds, laying the foundation for gradual shift towards balancing programs. Performance. Public debt to a minimum. Max public debt to a minimum. How are you going to get public debt to a minimum when you're $46 trillion in the hole? Now, a lot of people now are going to say you're aspirationally speaking, it's not going to happen, but he's got some plan in his mind via the private sector trade, oil, and harvesting non-oil products that he really believes that he can knock this deficit down to almost nothing, okay? Promoting a contribution from the agriculture, industrial, service, health, and agricultural product sectors, as well as large agricultural investment in specialized companies. Reducing imports, improving legislation to serve the private sector, unifying retirement systems. And if you guys didn't know this, guess what happened today?
What happened?
They voted on a social security system today.
Social Security.
Yep, in Iraq. And establishing safeguards to protect the private sector workers.
So after the prime minister is selected, won't they have to change the CBI chairman?
Yep, because he's a private manager. Adopting governance messages, automating services attacked at ensuring a reduction in staff, and reduce cases of extortion and corruption. They're going to reduce the amount of parliamentary people and staff, and guess what? They're going to ensure a reduction in staff and efforts to reduce cases of extortion and corruption. Less people out there, there's less hands out, there's less opportunity for extortion. Now, this is the holy grail right here of the holy grail. How many likes do we got?
You got 205.
That's it?
Oh my God.
Is that it?
You're a bomb hoe.
I'm a bomb hoe, yes!
Yeah, I like her.
I'm a like hoe! This is it. Can I get a, what? I want all the bombs. I want all the smoke.
No, you're a light hoe. I got them mixed up.
I want all the smoke.
Hope was saying I'm the bomb lady.
I want all the smoke. I want a drum roll.
Daisy, come handle that.
If you ain't ready for this one, can I get a bomb, a pre-bomb?
Oh, it's 213.
Okay, can I get a pre-bomb? That's a sucky bomb. I don't want that bomb. That's a little better. Can I get a better bomb? Try harder. Where's the big ones? You need to hit. That's my baby.
217.
Okay. Y'all, this is the real reason why I'm sitting here today. And I could stop this production and all this crap after I read this to you.
Why are you sitting here?
Well, I can't speak when you're speaking. Okay? Review the currency selling window and the exchange rate of the dinar in such a way that it changes monetary policy to support the domestic product and compensate its imports. I'm done. That's it. Exchange rate of the dinar.
Say it one more time.
Why? I ain't got no life. I'm a like whore.
Y'all, it went up. It went up. You got 221, so go say it again and you get 5 more. Come on. Say it again. Say it again. Say it loud.
Clutch my invisible pearls and adjust myself.
You black and you proud. Go ahead, say it.
Alright. Review the currency selling window. That's the auctions. Bomb. And the exchange rate of the dinar in such a way that the monetary policy supports the domestic product and compensates the imports. You can only achieve that by changing the value of the dinar to be on par with the new trade agreement on April 6th. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic.
If I don't get 300 likes right now, I'm done.
There's not that many people.
I don't care. I want 300 likes.
Okay, you have to go solicit them.
Yeah, you guys go out there and get a friend and bring him in this chat room and go get me 300 likes.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Share this video. That's right there. What more do I got to tell you guys? It's everything I've been telling you guys. Policy, legislation, trade, enforcement. Now you see it in writing. I told Telegram this. They went nuts yesterday. Daisy going nuts right now. Daisy says she gonna eat Wagyu for the rest of her life. And that's not the crazy part. That's not even the crazy part.
The bomb machine is off. Wait.
This is the holy grail and the answer to Iraq's money problems. Activating the private sector and turning on the dinar.
Are they going to give China some money?
I don't care. They don't gotta give China anything.
China needs some.
No, they don't. China doesn't need anything. China needs to give them money. That's the way that works. China owes them. They don't owe China anything.
China says they're going bankrupt because of coronavirus.
That's China's problem. China shouldn't unleash chemical warfare and not know how to contain it.
Apple's going to leave China.
That's okay. Apple needs to go back to Arizona where it can be harvested by Americans.
Apple's going to
America!
Apple's going to go to Vietnam so the dog can be released.
I got an interesting theory about that too.
That's right, Corey.
It's actually very smart on your part. I'm giving you that one. That's very smart. I do see Apple. Stock alert. Anybody following stocks? April BB came with a stock alert the other day. Says buy Apple. It's going to drop below 278.
279.
279. Buy it. It's a hot stock tip. Not telling you to do this. We're not financial advisors or giving financial advice. We are just simply telling you our ideas and opinions about the finance system, ecosystem going on, and we are not telling you to purchase anything, but it's a good buy.
It closed at 288 yesterday and closed at, I think, at 291 today. But I read an article. They said that it's gonna, the market's gonna try to recover, but it's gonna go back down again.
It is because the coronavirus won't let it.
It's gonna take it down. Daisy, hush.
Okay, now let's talk about ration cards. Review and reform ration card program by directing eligible categories and processing the regular and reviewing the practical experience that has been conducted by switching to the e-card, gradually evolving the private sector in the program in which it's managed, and investing in the ration card by providing opportunities working by the private sector, moving the economy in step to the fight against corruption, working to provide ration vocabulary from an internal market to enhance the opportunities of a local production, agriculture, and water. Okay, they're talking about water here. They're going to negotiate with Turkey, Iran, and Syria on various levels according to constant negotiations to achieve equal agreements to ensure flow of external water.
What is this? Brando 316 says, so that's the bottom line. What's that mean?
No, that's Steve Austin.
Oh! The Stone Cold.
Yeah, yes.
The Stone Cold. Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Okay, remember I told you guys they were going to decentralize their government? Part of his agreement, review and evaluate the project of the National Strategy for Education 2012 to 2022, identifying the obstacles that prevented the implementations of some of them, and proceed with preparation of the new strategy through 2030, taking into account the government's trend in promoting national identity and decentralization. That's the whole case. They're federalizing their government. That's going to happen. Tackling unemployment and linking curriculum for the needs of labor market and promotion and development of the role of civil and private education, the development of early childhood and treatment of remnants of terrorists, ISIS, educationally and intellectually. Pay special attention to school buildings and consider treatment as a national project. Ministry of Education will provide a timetable for the next 3 months. Community education, developing efficiency higher education. The government program in the sector aims to first adopt a new policy in investment sector through a real support of the private sector and domestic and foreign investors to encourage project financing and employment as many laborers as possible inside of Iraq. How are you going to get private investors for private foreign investors in the private sector outside of Iraq to invest in Iraq with an undervalued currency or an internationally not recognized currency? That's why I tell people all the time, it's not the budget. The currency doesn't worry about the budget. But if they don't pay Kuwait inside of that budget and they're Article 7 compliant, guess what happens? Those foreign investors don't come. They don't flock to Iraq. This is massive.
They said, "Can I get a hell yeah?"
Man, I'm telling you. Can I?
Oh no!
I need the congregation.
No,
I'm for real. Yes.
no. That
Yes.
they saying Stone Cold.
Oh, I don't know.
Stone Cold says, "Can I get a hell yeah?" That's what he says.
I used to do it. Open the beer up and drink it. Remember that?
Stone Cold says so.
I'm telling y'all, everything we've been talking about on this channel for a year. No guesswork. I didn't make up nothing. I didn't talk about Trump. I didn't make up a damn thing. And people got mad at me. I got shamed. Talked about, but guess what? It's all coming out, guess what? Right before your very eyes. And you know what? You're welcome. I hit my own damn bomb on that one. It ain't so much about being right. It's about being right on. And you know what's more important is, if you can quarterback this like Tom Brady, then guess what else you can do? You can see what's going to happen.
Sammy D said the budget will be out in 2 weeks.
That's what they said. I got that coming up, Sammy D. Stop trying to do my show for me, Sammy D. I'm just teasing, Sammy. Okay. Encourage investment in the private infrastructure of the private sector. Public and private partnership for a specified period of time to improve the quality of telecommunications. Remember I told you guys about the telecommunication projects? Improve the telecommunication quality and information and infrastructure and induce products.
Oh, my bomb machine.
Yeah, you're goofing around. I need you to be on these bombs because I'm dropping them like Hiroshima. To implement and continue the e-government as well as the identity of the government of the internet. Developing mail and encouraging private sector investment via ports and transport. I told you guys, air as well as those ports are very important as far as trade is concerned. Achieving the goals of the government includes the following. Iraqi Airways. Remember we talked about the air transport because it's a source of income, not just for the space that flies over it, but where they fly to, as being a hub for international business, as in inviting for foreign investors in, as well as, what do you want to call that? Convenience, as well as accessibility as a country. Finishing the Foul Large Port, as well as the Ministry of Transportation. Develop shipping performance. Facility procedures. Dude, I can't see one thing wrong with what this guy wants to do so far.
Steve-O said, allow you look like the dentist from Django Unchained.
Dude, he does, though. He ain't Mr. Potato Head, but he don't look quite right to me either.
So George said we should be definitely getting more Dawn.
I would. And one of his comments is, his whole goal is to speed up foreign investors for the operations in the projects in a time frame in which it helps the Iraqi people.
Max Play said, could the IQD flow even after the reinstatement with Forex and ISX?
Depends on the peg.
Could we see $4, $5, $6 dinar within 60 days?
It depends on the peg. Remember, they said they want to do a dirty float. If they unpeg from the dollar and don't peg to the Arab basket, It's a dirty float. It's market driven. It can go anywhere it wants.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, it can drop to anywhere it wants too, keeping it real.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think of it both ways. Yeah, it could go anywhere it wants to go. How long have we been doing this?
It's 8:10. I think we started at 7:15.
I could stop here and just answer questions if people want.
I mean, I've been asking you the questions as we go.
I
You want
can
to
I
save
can
it for more?
I can finish this report tomorrow if people. How many likes we got?
A gazillion. Let me
I
see.
need to know because I got a
Hold
whole
on.
bunch more to go.
Hold on. 241.
How many people?
293.
Wow. Do you guys want to stop here and want me to finish this report up tomorrow?
How fast do you think the currency will revalue?
It's not about that. I don't do that. I'm not a soothsayer. I just tell you the time frames in which I already gave you. I can't tell you that. I can tell you this. He wants 90-day implementation from the day he takes office to the day it sets forth. You got till April 6th until it's enforceable that we trade with Iraq on certain goods and services, that those goods and services will be tariffs. So you tell me. I don't know. I'm not here to be a soothsayer. I'm here to tell you these are the facts that I know based upon legislation.
Which way do y'all want it to go? Dirty float or RI?
Dirty float. Dirty
Dirty
float.
float?
Dirty. I want it as dirty as possible.
Dirty?
I want it dirty like a pig in dirt.
Okay.
I want it dirty like Daisy. Dirty.
Ooh.
Y'all want me to finish this tomorrow or y'all want to keep going? What's the vote?
I don't know. I'm looking for questions. It's a dirty game, y'all. Gang. That's Steve O.
Because I can finish this up. I know it's hard to get all this in one session, so I want to keep it in ways that you can absorb it and energize with it. You know what I'm saying? I can finish this tomorrow, but I want conceptually you guys to understand that this man told you that he's going to change the way they got the auction window. He's going to change the way that the value of the Iraqi dinar. I got dong news too, but I could do that tomorrow too. Yeah, let's do that. Let's cut it off here. Bold, italic, underline, strike through.
Do you think we get the RI on Alak's watch, or do we definitely need to see him get the boot?
He gets the boot.
Get the boot.
He gets the boot. If this show gets to...
There. Oh.
Hold on, let me give him their reprimand.
Here.
Who is this right here?
Ken
Dang, Ken, thank you. Are you going to cash in all your dinar on the first day of the reinstatement, or could you, or after the budget? I'm not cashing in all my money on the first day of the reinstatement, no matter what. I have a 5-day plan, a 15-day plan, all the way up to a 45-day plan. But as far as the reinstatement happens, I will be out of the Iraqi dinar exchange business after 30 days. Me personally, and Ms. BB too. But I will tell you guys this: if we get this video right here to how many likes we get?
You gotta come out of it because it has to reset. So you gotta come all the way out back to YouTube. And then come back into your video. So go all the way out where you see other people's stuff.
Can I have my phone, please?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Because we can finish this up tomorrow.
So you got, I gotta go back. You have 253 likes.
Wow. Huge day. All right. Here's the idea. We've given you a whole bunch of information real fast. So instead of going, nuts with it, why don't we finish this up tomorrow? And I give you guys in the afternoon the other half of this report because it's too long because I'm only doing this show once a week to really just, break it down the way I need to. So if you guys are cool with that, I'll answer questions for a little bit, but I want you to know I'm not going to abandon the podcast. I'm going to finish it. I just don't want you guys to miss all the bombs, all the potential good things because you guys can't see it, but I've got notes here. And the reason why I'm saying it is I'm not so much worried about Alawi's cabinet as I'm worried about the things that are going on that are going to get you paid. And I've got evidence that say that these are the reasons why I think you're going to get paid. So, anybody got tomorrow then? Okay, yeah, a lot of people say tomorrow. Tomorrow? Okay, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. I just want you guys to know that a lot of people are discouraged. A lot of people are out there posting up a bunch of information that is counterproductive to the investment because they didn't see the list of things that Alawi demanded as far as his government's concerned, and they didn't see the opportunity that he's trying to invoke upon the Iraqi people based upon what he's trying to do inside of the government. And so, with that, you can't really knock him until we try him. Remember, I've said this a million times. It's the system is the solution. You can't hate the system until we find out what game we're playing. When we find out what game we're playing and we know what we're doing, we can judge him after that. Okay?
Did you? How realistic is over $2? Did you see that?
I didn't see that. No.
Okay. Mike Fuller said, "Mr. B, how realistic would it be for over $2?"
Well, think about it. Kuwait is over $2. Bahrain is over $2. There's a couple people inside of that Arab basket that are over $2. So yeah, it's not unrealistic for them to be over $2.
Shanta said, "What time tomorrow?"
Oh, that's up to her when she gets here.
No, I don't think she was talking about that. I think she was talking about, you said you're gonna do part 2 tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll do it like in the middle of the day, like 1 o'clock or something like that. You know what I mean? I'll give everybody a chance to kind of wake up and do their thing. It'll be like 1 or 2 o'clock, something like that. I gotta come up with a new thumbnail. Those are hard.
What does it mean to sterilize currency?
Man, it means the difference between receiving your currency that could be possibly infected from someone in China.
Well, the virus can live for 9 days on the
Yeah,
surface.
Yeah, but if it's immune driven, which would be something like a cold, all you gotta do is spray it with like Lysol or some type of disinfectant. Let me put like that disinfectant.
Let me say this. So I was talking to someone at the job today. So how on the back of the Lysol can it says coronavirus. So the coronavirus has been around, but this strand of the coronavirus has not been around.
Right.
So it's not true that Lysol kills this strand.
Okay, so something stronger, maybe like a concentrated bleach or something. I'm saying water and bleach. I'm just saying that it's immune driven, so something that's very sterile would kill it, such as heat, such as bleach, such as stuff like that. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying. People get discouraged because they hear BS from people on the internet making up crazy stuff. Yeah, they make up crazy stuff because they don't read. Reading is truly fundamental in this investment. Having information that's actually provable is fundamental in this investment. If that hasn't been proven by us over the time span that I've been on this, because I could put out a video every 5 minutes about every article that comes out, but unless I can take all that information and make it summarize and make it make sense, then what good is reading you articles? You want to make those articles make sense to you, because a lot of people don't understand Arabish.
Arabish. Arabish. Is that blue?
Shout out to Danny and Socorro Cosedo live from Sacramento. I don't know.
Am I dreaming? Let me see about tomorrow.
Reaper, what you cooking this weekend?
How you feel about neon?
Sharon, I would imagine UV probably could kill it, but I think heat, bleach, I think hot water would kill it. I think, things that hurt immune things, you know what I'm saying, would destroy it. Chemical specialist, I'm not. But I agree with you, Robert.
How you feel about this place tomorrow? Because we have one here.
Yeah, we can go there. Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Salmon, okay. Arabic. Put it in Landry's. Well, all right. How long we been going? I think we've been going a long time.
Over an hour.
Okay. I want to say we'll pick this up tomorrow. Let's get this video to at least 500 likes by tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. Forget the views. Let's just get it to 500 likes. Mm-hmm. If I get it to 500 likes by 11 o'clock tomorrow a.m., I need 500. If I get it there, I'll finish the report. If not, I'll wait an hour. If I don't get it, then I'll release this video later on in the week when it hits 500. But if they want to know the rest of what I know, especially information about Vietnam, where I can cite and quote text on when they signed the agreement that they knew they were going to change the way they do currency and as well as comply to make their currency be on an international level, you want to hear that information? Give me those likes. When we get those likes, we'll get there. Until then, guess what?
Pasta, pasta.
I put the new fudgies on the Jeep.
Ooh, Daisy, go on.
All right, y'all. Daisy said it. She wants her likes. Tell them, Daisy, you want likes. 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 All right, y'all.
All right.
All right. See you tomorrow. If I get them likes, I'll see you tomorrow. If I won't, I'll see you this weekend. Have a good one.